Hello, my name is Spencer Smith. My wife Abby and I run the Jefferson Center for Holistic Management, a Savory Institute hub in California and Nevada. Today I want to talk with you a little bit about the changing commodity markets and what that's going to do to ag enterprises kind of all across the nation. There are a few things that are really driving down the cattle market and the small grains and commodities across the board. One of them happens to be the fact that our dollar is so strong. When the dollar is this strong, even though our government's working to open up foreign trade and China just came back on board saying that they were going to start to take some American beef, it really isn't going to amount to a whole lot. The fact that the dollar is about 6.5 to, or rather, the yen is about 6.5, 7 to 1 to the American dollar, is going to make their purchasing power for our products really tough. And it's not going to be a large market driver for the beef industry. Now, on the other side of that, the dollar is so strong, we can buy, and the ag sector is buying and importing in huge amounts of small grains from across the world. So the dollar is going across, bringing back small grains, flooding the market, and really keeping the pressure down on the corn, wheat, white rice, and commodities all across the board. This is going to have dramatic effects to the ag sector in the next few years. And I think next year we're going to be looking at the 2016 calf prices and wishing for the good old days again. And here's part of the reason why. So not only is our export market's going to be really tough, we've created an oversupply problem that is, almost to an extent that we haven't seen before. We kind of talked ourselves into and bought into this idea that the American beef supply was so low over the last 4 or 5 years, and we really needed to build up those beef numbers. Where our numbers and our head of cattle domestically had been low compared to previous years, in the 50s and the 70s and all these different statistics that were thrown around. The difference is that the carcasses that we're butchering now are 30, 40, 50% bigger than they used to be. So where we are feeding less head of cattle on our pastures and in our lots, we're also butchering and have an oversupply of meat in frozen storage, to the point that we're about 2% over capacity in frozen storage, and our feedlots are over capacity, and those carcass weights keep itching up and up. We're now killing livestock weighing 1,600 pounds, when just a few years ago a finished calf might be weighing 12.5, 13. So all of these are going to compound what's happening to the beef industry and keep the pressure on it for the next few years. Another issue that farmers and ranchers are going to really have to be keeping an eye on, as their on-farm income continues to be lower and lower, the cost of money to produce that is going to be higher and higher. Janet Yellen and the Fed have already stated that they're going to start to bump up interest rates. Where 0.25% on a 30-year note doesn't make a big deal, it does on your short-term lending. So those of us and the farmers and ranchers that are out there that are operating on operating loans, those are the farmers and ranchers who are really going to start to feel the bite. So now their on-farm income is going to be cut dramatically lower, and the cost to produce that beef, as far as the lending and the leverage that they need to operate throughout the year, is going to skyrocket. These are all things that we need to keep in mind, and one of the best and most effective tools that we can have is holistic financial planning. The Savory Institute, Alan Savory, and a group of practitioners developed holistic financial planning in the 80s. And from then on, farmers and ranchers that utilize this type of financial planning have seen much greater profit margins in good years and in bad. Part of what we need to do is make sure that we're not allowing our expenses to inch up and eat up our profits. This is, like I say, is going to be far more important to us here in the next 5 years than it was in the last. One thing that a lot of producers are going to be able to find and utilize to stay liquid in these challenging times ahead are going to be niche markets and private labels and things like that. The Savory Institute is coming to the public with a land-to-market program this November. Now this program is going to be unlike anything seen before. Goes with a scientifically robust monitoring protocol that will allow for global markets to see and search out and purchase beef, meat, wool, so meat, fiber, dairy, and leather products that were grown in a way that were regenerative to the ecosystem. People that enter into this will have a lot better chance at reaching premium prices through these new markets. If you're interested in learning more about holistic financial planning or the Land to Market program, I stress that you should really try and make it to the Grazing for Change conference on November 4th in Chico, California. If this is reaching you and you're outside of the California, Nevada, Oregon area, and it's not possible for you to come to this one, the Savory Institute has global conferences happening all over the world on November 4th, and we'll be addressing these key issues to the changing marketplace. You can find more information about our conference at grazingforchange.com, and you can find out more information about what the Savory Institute's doing, starting this, igniting this consumer revolution at consumerrevolution.global. Thanks a lot. Bye.